Welcome back to Memories Dogma Code 1. Last episode we met with Serrano's memory, and apparently something's not right. Our memory and her memories, something's off. One of us has wrong memories because she doesn't remember that we basically got mad at her that one day in the cafe and stormed out and pretty much never saw her again. But we pretty much remember it, right? I mean, what's going on? Something's wrong. And then that mysterious girl gave us those vague and weird cryptic messages. I don't know. You know, I fixed this last episode. And I did. And it's still really slow. Oh, it didn't matter. Kakara groans then, after thinking for a while, finally answers.
今の話は俺も初耳だから、それが真かどうかは判断できない。けど、もしお前が本当のことを話してるんだったら、ソラノちゃんの方が嘘をついてるということになるな。
そんなバカな。
I unconsciously object.
落ち着けって。命題論理として考えればそうなるって話をしただけだ。
Kakira raises both his hands as if to ward me off.
だけど、俺らは経験則として、ソラノちゃんがそんな嘘をつくような子じゃないってことを知ってる。
だったら、矛盾が起きてることになるじゃないか。
そういうこと。何かがおか
Something's
しい。
not right. As Kakuru says that, he puts the bag he brought with him onto the ground and takes something out of it. It's kind of like a card reader. Then he pulls out something that looks like a white card. The notebook piece he always has with him. Some black cables, a screwdriver, and various other gadgets. He just takes them out one after another and places them on the table next to the telephone.
ちょっと失礼。
What are you doing? Kakura moves behind the telephone and thrusts his screwdriver into the back panel of the telephone.
かける。お前何を？
いいから。ヒロキはソラノちゃんにどんどん質問しろ。
え？
とにかく会話をつなげるんだよ。
Alright. While saying that, Kakura connects the card reader to his laptop. Then he grabs the black cable he took out before and connects one end of it to the telephone and the other to his computer.
わかった。
I wonder what Kakura's planning. I look back at Serrano within the AR display.
ヒロ君、私おかしくなっちゃったのかな。
Serrano must have gotten worried about hearing my conversation with Kakura. She looks at me uneasily.
そんなことない。大丈夫だから。
I chose my words carefully to try and ease her concerns.
ありがとう。
Serrano must have realized what I was trying to do. She smiled peacefully. At the very least, I was able to tell her things I wanted to all this time. Thanks to that, I think I'm finally able to think a bit more calmly.
ソラノ、今からする俺の質問に答えてくれ。
それはもちろんいいよ。けどまたさっきみたいに話が噛み合わなくなっちゃうかも。
いいんだ。ソラノは答えられることを答えてくれればいい。
Serrano doesn't even have any memories of that day at all. As I'm thinking about that, a suspicious feeling starts to grow in the back of my mind. I can only think of one way to ascertain that right now. Take a deep breath.
ソラノは本当に車にひかれたのか？
どういうこと？
ソラノ、お前は本当に自分から車に飛び込んだのか？
Dude, you're not supposed to ask her that. You are not allowed to ask the dead about how they died, in that case. If Serrano did not die by jumping in front of a car, this question should not be forbidden. This is all just speculation, but it's still worth a shot.
3年間お前と過ごしてきたけど、正直言ってお前がそんなことをするイメージが全然ないんだ。だからどうしてなんだろうって何度考えても答えが見つからなくて。
I continue to avoid saying the word suicide as I question her.
ロ君の言ってることわからないよ。
Serrano looks at me completely lost. Her expression is completely blank. But the interview hasn't been terminated yet. In other words, it's quite likely that Serrano did not die by jumping in front of a car. I exhale slowly. I was worried that the interview might really get cancelled here.
じゃあ質問を変えよう。7月13日車が近づいてきた時のことを話してくれないか。覚えてることだけでいい。もう一度言う。2030年の7月13日車が空野に向かって近づいてきた時のことだ。
車が近づいてきた。
Feels like the light is slowly starting to return to Serrano's eyes.
空野。
The moment I shout out her name, she comes back to her senses and opens up her eyes.
何か思い出したのか。
Do you remember anything?
やだ。やだ、来ないで。
Serrano looks like she's been terrified by something. Holds her head in both hands, shaking it back and forth.
空野。おい、どうしたんだよ。
ヒロ君、助けてヒロ君。
俺はここにいるぞ、空野。
Serrano continues to shake her head with a terrified look in her eyes. She can't see me anymore. What on earth's going on here? I desperately call to
ど
Serrano.
うしたんだよ、空野。こっちを見ろ。
来ないで。怖い。怖いよ。
おい、何があったんだ。しっかりしろ。
Suddenly, Serrano's voice turns into static noise, and I unconsciously reel my head back from the receiver. At the same time, the AR display showing Serrano starts to warp.
おい、空野。
重大なエラーが発生しました。記憶情報管理者を呼んでください。重大なエラーが発生しました。記憶情報管理者を呼んでください。
空野。
重大なエラーが発生しました。記憶情報管理者を呼んでください。
おい。
She looks so real. As if she were still alive, but Serrano has vanished. All that's left is a mechanical voice repeating the same lines with a frozen expression. The eeriness of it all gives me shivers. You know, it's almost as if something had been simply mimicking Serrano had broken and revealed its true form.
空野、こっちを見てくれ。
重大なエラー。
The AR display fills with static noise for a moment and then simply vanishes.
何なんだよ、今のは。
I reflexively drop the receiver. It falls to the carpet with a thud. It's like we were forcibly ripped out of a fairy tale and brought back to reality.
やっぱり空野の記憶がおかしかったということか。
俺だってわかんねえよ。クソ。
Sakura's been watching us while typing on the keyboard this whole time, so he's seen the whole thing. Looks like he's just as shocked as I am. The serene feeling of the room had given off was long gone. Everything here feels artificial, and even the warm, conditioned air feels chilly and tense. Was this room always so inhospitable? At my wit's end, I can no longer bear to stand in front of the telephone, so I go take a look at what Kakeru is doing. His laptop screen is full of dialogue boxes saying stuff like now copying.
おい、何をする気だ。
Yeah, man, what's up?
この電話の通話ログにアクセスして空野ちゃんの記憶データに割り当てられてる ID を抜き取り、俺の持ってきたカードメディアに記憶データをコピーする。
Why?
そんなことができるのか。
コネクトのシステムは星の数ほどある制約に縛られながら何重家なのかわからないほど多くの開発会社が参加して開発されたものらしいから、
Yeah, too many cooks in the kitchen,
セキュリ
right?
ティホールと思われる場所があるんだ。
本当なのか、それは。
ま、正直なところ 本当かどうかはよくわかんねえ。その知識もテミスネットの匿名掲示板で集めたもんだし。
The Mistnet. I call it Themisnet.
何せセキュリティホールをつくためにわざわざここに来る人間なんてまずいないからな。
Are you sure, man? I don't know. I mean, you're doing it.
だって面会登録されるほどに近しい人が死んじゃったら普通そんな余計なことを考える余裕なんてないじゃん。
Oh, that makes sense.
だからそれが本当にできるのかどうかまだ誰も試してないと思う。でもそれって裏を返せばまだ誰もできないことを確認してないんだよ。なんかそう考えたら試してみる価値はあるように思えてくるだろう。
I mean, you already got everything all set up. I'd feel kind of, it'd be rude for me to ask you to take it all down, right?
そのための道具を持ってきて正解だったぜ。
お前最初からそのためにこれを？
Without looking away, Amamaya continues to type on his laptop as he answers.
俺だって空野ちゃんが自殺しただなんて思っちゃいない。
I don't think she did either. I think something's up.
何かが俺たちが知らない何かがあるに違いないんだ。そう考えて空野ちゃんが死んだ日からずっとこの時のためにこっそり準備をしてきたんだ。
そうだったのか。
Well, I had lost sight of myself and wallowed in my despair. Kakaru alone continued to question Serrano's death and continued to investigate the truth. I'm the only one who's sad that Serrano died. Kakaru's dealing with it in his own way, too.
かける。すまない。俺、自分のことばっかりで。
弱音吐いてる暇があったら入り口ちゃんと見張っててくれよな。
ああ、わかった。
We only had half an hour, right? How long is this gonna take? I thought back to my conversation with Serrano as I kept watch over the door. Serrano definitely did not commit suicide. I want to know the truth. We all want to know the truth. Why did Serrano say we shouldn't see each other back then? I mean, what does that even mean? Why did she have to die? I need to know the truth. I stare at the laptop as I pray for answers when suddenly I hear a man's voice say, "Excuse me," from the door behind me. Uh-oh. I insistently stand up and position myself to block his view of Kakaru. At the same time, when the door opens, a guy who looks like a staff member wearing a laborer's clothes and a man in a white lab coat walk in. The guy who looks like a staff member smiles at us peacefully, but the lab coat guy behind him is expressionless and stares at us sharply. The guy wearing the lab coat has a nameplate on his chest that reads, Isaida Tomoyuki. The staff guy speaks first.
ご面会の途中に申し訳ございません。こちらのお部屋から異常を知らせる通知を受けたものですから、何かお困りのことがありましたでしょうか？
No abnormalities here. Or abnormalities. Staff guy is still smiling peacefully, but the lab coat guy, Isaida, is looking around the room intently. The contrast between the two makes it hard to really say anything.
それが、ちょっと音声がおかしくなってしまって。
I have to buy as much time as possible and keep them from guessing what we're really doing.
はい、はい、なるほど。音声の不調ということですね。
なんだか本人のようで本人じゃないようなみたいな感じで。
本人じゃないような感じですか？
ええ、なんというか突然よくわからないことを。
Boy, I hope Kakeru's done in there. Buying them all this time. In order to keep their attention on me, I give them really ambiguous replies, but soon they'll narrow down the particulars. Are you still not done yet, Kakeru? Isaida, who's been silent all this time, must have gotten impatient as he suddenly pushes the staff guy out of the way and walks in. I can't let them see what Kakeru's doing. I try to deflect Isaida away from Kakaru, but he just silently pushes me aside. It'd be odd for me to keep resisting, so I just simply let myself get pushed away. I unconsciously glance back at Kakaru and...
いや、俺たちは普通にカードを入れて話してただけなんですけどね。
Oh, Kakaru. I love you, man. Kakaru's holding his bag as if nothing has happened and forces a smile. Did I manage to buy enough time?
なんか急に音声が途切れ途切れになっちゃって電源トラブルかなんかですかね。
He decided to glare sharply at Kakaru, who was just scratching his head and laughing.
端末機の方を確認させていただけますでしょうか。
どうぞどうぞ。
恐れ入ります。それではそのまま動かずに
Please don't
お待ちください。
You can't keep us here, man. As the staff member decided to go to examine the phone, Kakaru moves beside me and hands me the card, the one he used to grab all the data, behind his back, and as we exchange glances, he signals towards the door. Serrano's memory data. In order to not let them grasp our intentions, I quietly take the card and hold it tightly in my hands. Let's make a break for it when the Cytophals fellow turns his back to us. I slip the card in my jean pocket and quietly move towards the door. Then, just as I quietly move to open the door, it happens. Well, this can certainly not be a good thing. At the same time, both the staff and the member decided to turn back towards us. At Kakaro's signal, we both leap out of the room and start running. Get the hell out of here, man. We burst out of the hallway and run back down the way we came. However, a few guys in security uniforms show up and start running towards us. Kakaru points to a passageway leading in the opposite direction as he runs. I run after him. However, we quickly run into a T-junction, so we have no choice but to pick a direction. Kakaru dashes to the left without any hesitation, and I follow behind him. Ever since the alarm started ringing, it looks like the metal plates have stopped moving. Most of the other customers are standing around confused. We continue to weave between them as we run. Kakaru pulls up the AR display using his MRD. A series of 5 circles appears before us with 4 in a ring, and the last one in the center is surrounded by the others.
Oh, 俺たちは今この真ん中の円のあたりにいる。俺はさらにこのまま左上の建物の方に向かう。建物をつなぐ連絡通路に非常出口のマークがあるだろう。そこから出る。
わかった。じゃあそこまで走れば。
いや、ヒロキはこの連絡通路のところで俺と別れろ。もしかしたらこの非常出口は普段はロックがかかってて出られないかもしれないだろう。もし非常出口にロックがかかってたら。お前に MRD で連絡を入れる。
おい。
もし非常出口から出られたら連絡はしない。そこから出て隠れてるから、お前はさらに外周を回って、この左下の建物に通じる連絡通路を目指せ。
ちょっと待てって。勝手に話を進めるなよ。
I look at Kakaru as I say that and notice his expression is dead serious. Looks like he really wants to do this. While we talk, I see from the corner of my eye that our pursuers are starting to catch up. Suppose we don't really have any other options at this point.
もしそこから出られなかったら、お前はどうするんだよ。
そうだな。そうなったら捕まるかもしれないな。
Don't look so carefree when you say that.
おい、それじゃ困る。
あのな、ヒロキ。さっきお前にカードを渡しただろう。
We have the truth in this card.
だからお前がとりあえず出られればいいんだ。捕まったってちょっと怒られるだけだ。でもカードを持ってたら取り上げられちゃうだろう。
Just get scolded a little. Will it really be that simple? Life in prison. While still harboring doubts about the plan, the passageway comes into view.
さっき言った通り、お前はこのまま進んでくれ。
Okay.
わかった。かける。捕まるなよ。
I didn't know what else to say, so I just gave him some words of encouragement.
どっちかっていうと、俺がお前に言いたいセリフなんだよな、それ。
Oh, gee, thank you. Kakaru smiles his usual smile.
空野ちゃんの記憶に通じる大事なデータは、お前が持ってるんだからな。頼むぜ。
ああ、これは必ず持って帰る。
Put my hand in my pocket to make sure it's still there.
じゃあ、そういうことでよろしく。
With those words of farewell, Kakaru runs towards the right-hand passageway. The alarm's still ringing, and when I look back, I see a bunch of people closing in on me. What the hell, man? Is running away from that room really that big of a deal? As I push my legs forward, I think back to what happened in that room. The moment Kakaru and I opened the door, the alarm started to ring and the automated plate stopped moving. The moment we left, security guards started to come after us too. The staff kind of side must have expected this to happen when they came to our room and prepared accordingly. But likewise, if we hadn't run when we had, the security would have probably caught up with us by now. And what was with that weird way Serana started acting at the end back there? She looked like she was deathly afraid of something. A critical error, huh? All this must be related somehow. I'll find out the answers. I can see the corner where the passageway turns into the next building. Kakaru hasn't contacted me. That must mean he made it out safely. Or he was... well, let's just assume he made it out safely. Let's just believe that he made it out safely, okay? I start running towards the exit as well, but... some more security guards appeared from the end of the passageway. I reflexively come to a halt. When I look back, I see my pursuer still a good distance away, but closing quickly. I'm completely trapped. If I just try to blindly run forward, I'll get caught for sure. Shit, what do I do? Oh, I got a phone call. This is not the time. I'll let it go to voicemail. It says that the call is from an unknown user. In other words, an anonymous call. Is it Kakaru, maybe? Since it's Kakaru, he might actually hide his identity. Praying that he has a way out of this, I answer the call. I hear a complete unexpected voice on the other end.
Huh? 君は誰だ?
I guess. The girl's voice. Ignoring my question, she continues to speak in a very calm voice. I don't know who she is, but she's right. However, that's a pretty big possibility right now. For someone to anonymously call my MRD at this moment of all times is pretty suspicious. Something I need to protect. Oh, yeah, the card. Along with Kakaru, who risked himself to entrust them to me. Thinking I've given up, the guards that came from the connecting passageway start to slowly approach me. If I run with all my might, I should be able to make it to the passage this girl's talking about. I run towards the passageway she told me about. It's not like I can think of anywhere else to go, right? If I'm trapped anyway, I might as well struggle until the very end. Oh, they're momentarily surprised, the guards quickly collect themselves and run after me. Those few seconds of hesitation are enough for me. I reach the corner before the security guards and turn left. The moment I start to turn, a strong force grabs my right hand and pulls me forward. Look at that. It's a girl. You were right around the corner. Couldn't you have just yelled? The girl puts her fingers to her lips as she continues to gracefully run down the hallway, her hand still holding on to mine. Oh, that's good to know. I see. Well, now that I think about it, there were forks in the hallways that led left and right when I was running, and all the hallways looked exactly the same. we're still not safe. Are we gonna get out of this alive, guys? Well, we're gonna find out in the next episode of Memories Dogma Code 1. Take it easy.